Alright, welcome back to the shop. I was over at the other shop. I still got to work on a better name for all these things. At my grandfather's shop and digging around, looking at some tools and whatnot, and I've been so wrapped up in everything else in the new house that I haven't done restoration in a while. So I just picked out some things that look sort of unique. I thought these were really neat. These were the casters off of a creeper when you slide underneath the truck and whatnot. Those are neat. This is Eiffel pliers. This was one of my first tool restoration videos, and that was relatively well received. These are just such neat tools. This, I don't know what it is, but I've got an affinity for duckbill needle nose things. I've got quite a few. Not a huge fan of the hand drills, but this is just so neat. It is a cutest little thing, and I think this would just look outstanding. The saw, never seen a little keyhole saw like that. It just has really nice fit and fit. I mean, at least the way the edges are broken. Thought that was pretty neat. This, some brass and wood, you can't go wrong with that. If you like that kind of stuff, go check out 357. Magdad, he's the master at that kind of stuff. A little crate tool, some sort of pry bar crate tool. They're just handy. These are, but by and large, if you're new to the channel, I try to restore tools and things that are useful for me. It's not necessarily just wall hangers. Occasionally I do that. Eventually we'll get to a post drill. But so I'm going to try to stay away from superlatives, but not say never, but try to redo tools that I'm going to use again. And sometimes there's just curiosity that gets me. These folding rulers. This is just the neatest looking thing. And it's, been in the weather for the last 100 years, but it's still, I don't know, is it salvageable? Should it be redone? What should you do? And then, rulers. This is the first time I'd seen an aluminum folding rule. I thought that was pretty cool. So, with that being said, I think I'm just going to pick an easy one. But when I say easy, I mean volume area-wise. The things like toolboxes and whatnot, I've seen a couple. Matt over at the Super Wrench Garage has taken on a couple toolboxes. Wireworks, toolboxes take a lot of work, and these small tools can also take quite a bit of work, but there's not the surface area that you have to contend with. So these are just chowdered. They look nice and clean. I mean, in terms of the edges being relatively crisp, but they don't move at all. So we're going to see if we can't get these working again. And well, let's cut to some time lapse. So we can see that those are sort of cleaned up now, and the pitting doesn't look to be too atrocious from what I can get with the wire wheel right now. I don't have my slow speed wire wheel. I've got the high speed 3000 RPM one. Those are much more unpleasant to use in my opinion. They're just seem dangerous. But before I start trying to force anything and have that thing rip it out of my hand, let me see if I can get these jaws freed up so that I have a little bit more leverage when I'm wire wheeling it. So I'm going to just use some PP plaster, see if I can't work it free. Alright, I apologize for the 80 million camera angles. I still haven't got the shop sorted out yet. So, I've got it cleaned up. Air conditioner. I've got it cleaned up relatively well, I think, compared to what it was. But my problem is now I can't get it to close all the way. So, for that, what I'm going to do is, I know that it's going to be in the works here, obviously. So I'd take some magic marker, and in a machine shop they'll use something called Daikin. Just some sort of indicating fluid to see where the wear patterns are happening. Hopefully this comes out on camera. But I'm going to squeeze it together a couple times. And what we're going to want to look for is some indication as to where that interruption is happening. And we can see that it's still... I'd actually gone through before and started filing it down because I knew where I was hitting. You can see that sort of a highlight there that's scratched in the indelible marker. So what I need to do is go through it and file that down, and hopefully that'll draw that together a little closer. I have a feeling it's probably not going to be perfect, but we'll try to get a little bit closer than it is now. So I'll do that, and I'll come back and we'll see what progress I've made. Alright, so here we are. All I can see on there is what looks to be the 46. I don't mean to make excuses or anything, but I've got another sander that I like much better, and I've got another buffer, different buffing wheels, and I've got quite a bit of stuff that I don't have in the shop yet. I've got, you know, a pretty good set of tools. It's more than enough to do most work, but I have better tools that make the work easier, and I think that's the biggest thing, is finding tools that, you know, that you like in using and that you prefer to go to, and then you'll enjoy doing work. When you have tools that are, you know, that you don't enjoy using, you're not going to go to them. So as simple as that sounds, try to, you know, you don't have to get the same tools I get or use the same tools as somebody else is using, but figure out what you think you like, and you know, try to hunt down that. And in my case, I like slower speed buffers, and I like sanders that have lots of room. I'm going to show you this Kalamazoo that I have. So this Kalamazoo is a relatively expensive machine. I got it at a tractor show for 60 bucks, which is a great deal, and it will move some metal, and I think that there's probably the knife making guys, this is probably a real entry-level knife making kind of tool. And it's a, you know, ball door motor, it's a well-built machine. However, my other sander, you know, this probably isn't a great, you know, discussion point right now because I don't have the other example. But without even the Harbor Freight one that you see Scoutcrafter using and so many other people, it has that delta shape, that triangular thing, and it allows you to get the tool in. Because I couldn't, you know, I'd try to get the tool in, and here I'm wrecking into the back, and you can see the wear marks on the thing where it's just, it's got its purposes, but it's not something that I tend to go to all the time, so I don't use it. It's probably the most expensive, one of the most expensive tools in the shop, you know, on wholesale price or whatever, retail price, but it's probably one of the least used because, you know, I don't like it. So with that being said, I think these came out okay. They're just going to go right in the drawer. No high polish or anything like that. There was some pretty substantial pitting in there, and I didn't feel like hogging it all out. So, but I am happy the way that those closed up. There seemed to be a parallel gap in between there, so I think that's about as well as they have ever been, because that is parallel. So I can't really shoot to improve that. Not in this case. So that's going to be the end of the tool restoration. Now, if you're just interested in cleaning up tools, I'd turn it off now. Now I'm going to talk about some other things happening in the shop. So I have still got to put the surface grinder on this table. This is a steel table. It's like a Durham table. It's pretty nice. I have a welder. I have yet to wire that up. This is the old workbench. When I was down in South Florida, there was typically a gray mat with a white rectangle on it. This is, we've got a lot of hours of use on it. It is a very heavy table. It's a 1/4-inch plate steel top on it. Outstanding welding table. Despite all the pitting and whatnot, it's down now. I'll have better assembly tables. And we'll get to that in a second. Wheel horse, I'll have to do an episode on my lawnmowers and stuff like that one of these days, but right now it's just here to get serviced and change the oil, grease the fittings and whatnot. These are the bookshelves that not bookshelves, these came out of I think I did an episode on these. They're great. I still need to organize them a little bit better. The only thing I'll say here is that what I prefer to do is put your fluids down low, because if you don't want to put your good stuff and then have, invariably one of these is going to leak. No doubt it will happen at some point. So keep the fluids and whatnot down low, the least valuable stuff down where if it gets leaked on, it's not going to ruin your day. So in my case, I've got, you know, drills and batteries and things like that up here, and then automotive paint. A lot of painting going on around here. Did an episode on this one. I bought an air compressor. The guy overfilled it with oil and thought it was broken, so I drained the oil out of it and it worked. Steel table, I've been working on a pressure washer. This is my father's pressure washer. Bradley had some great suggestions on my pressure washer. I got to get that. That's a surface grinder. Anyway, getting everything sorted out, but I got a new tool. There it is. I will post in some video that I took with my cell phone getting it unloaded. It is a Yale GTC 040. That means G for gas, T for 3-stage mast, C for cushion tire. The 040 and the serial number is a 4,000 pound capacity. So this will lift up, I don't know, 15 feet? I haven't got that far yet. We have got radiator issues, and beyond the radiator issues, I have a steering issue. The steering does not work. I think it has what's called an orbital valve, and the orbital valve, I don't know if I've had enough fluid in it or whatever, but I've got a leaky cylinder, and right now it's not steering. I suspect it's something trivial. I just haven't had enough time to go through everything yet, but I did drive it in here. That's evidenced by the burnout mark on the floor there. So it runs propane, just a dual, up and down, and then it's got 10 degrees of tilt back and forth there, so no side shift or anything like that. I suppose it's the early 80s. Came out of an epoxy shop, that's all the white dust on it, and I paid $800 for it. So I do have the forks for it. I just have the forks out of the way so I'm not tripping on them. It weighs 7,000 pounds, and it's probably a little bit more than most home garages need, but it's a bucket list thing. I mean, it's less than an iPhone, so people will make fun of me for having a forklift, but at the end of the day, it'll be a nice tool to have when I want to move the workbenches around. I can. And when I take the garbage out, it'll make my life a little easier. So that's it. That's, again, I'm not real knowledgeable about this stuff. I'll be able to get it working and everything will be fine, but I won't be able to give instructions on. I'm not a good, educator or tutorial maker or anything like that, because I'm just making it up as I go, figuring it out, and that doesn't make for very good content. I guess it goes beyond forklifts and into tool restoration. But anyway, I digress. I just want to get some content on the channel. I've got some swag coming out soon. I've just been, trying to cobble together some things and some packaging supplies and whatnot. So I'll get some swag in the mail soon, and hopefully you'll see this running in the background one of these days, and everything will come together. So I just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I hope you guys are having a great weekend.